Time to talk a little business as we do every Thursday. We welcome in Patrick Gremion, host of the Patty G Show. What's happening, dude?
Good morning, Brian. Good morning, man.
For those that are watching on Facebook Live, they already know you're looking sharp today.
I am. This is not the normal Patty G outfit, per se.
No,
Normally,
very much
we don't
not.
have sleeves.
So you get the charcoal gray suit today.
Absolutely. I kind of took a page out of your book and we took McClavy's. And so so you've got Hasbul's, right?
Very big Hasbul guy over here.
So we've got McClavy's on the Patty G Show.
Okay.
So this is all the McClavy's get up, man.
Very nice.
So they took care of me for sure. Yeah, it's a different. I've never owned a charcoal suit before, but I kind of like it. It's got a little.
I like the charcoal. It's flexible.
It's very flexible.
You could do funeral or wedding. You could do what? It's
those are the only two times you wear a suit, Brian.
If I could avoid it, yeah.
I mean, although you did wear a suit to the award ceremony you were at the other night.
Last Friday before, or a couple Fridays ago.
Yeah, a couple
Crime
Fridays ago, and it was a well-fitted suit.
Thank you, I appreciate that. That's it's not my normal attire. Let's just say that.
It is a different attire, but I think in the colder times, it's just throw on a suit and you're good and warm. You don't need to worry about a jacket or anything.
You got to worry about that. Hang on, because every time we mention the word cold, some jackleg has to say that it's not that cold. I don't understand
Chilly?
that.
What do you want?
Yeah, I don't
not
know.
hot?
I don't know. We live in South Louisiana. It's a relative term. I don't know. We live in South Louisiana. It's a relative term for crying out loud.
Right. 40 degrees is cold for downtown Baton Rouge.
Exactly.
All
right, we got some business to talk about, and we talk business culture, and the like in this segment every week. And last week we got onto a path that kind of led to where we're going this week. Let's talk about goals, realistic goals when it comes to not just where you want to be at work, but also work-life balance as well. This is when factored in through the lens of the Great Resignation and whatnot. Are we setting ourselves up for failure by trying to take those of us that are working? Are we setting ourselves up for failure by trying to? Well, no. Yesterday we had a conversation with Dr. Samuel Gregg, and we talked about the participation rate versus the unemployment rate.
Yeah, no, we talked about it last week as well. The people that are sitting on the sidelines waiting for either a better opportunity or just hoping to get some other cash some other way. No, I think that's a very valid point. Those of us that are working in the workforce, not only actively seeking a job, but also actively participating in those jobs.
Yeah. Are we setting ourselves up for failure by trying to take on too much to do all the things?
I think we are setting ourselves up for two cases here. Inevitable failure and also unrealistic expectations that we can't meet personally. Mm-hmm. I think this
aren't those two things one and the same kind of? I mean,
well, no, failure you didn't accomplish your goal, but like setting unrealistic expectations may not even be to necessarily accomplish something. It's like I want to get up. You didn't fail because you still got up. You just may not have gotten up at 4 a.m. like you wanted to.
Okay.
So that's how I kind of differentiate it. But I think this is heightened by that of social media and that of what people are seeing. False realities on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, the hustle culture, right? Mm-hmm. The culture that everybody has to be working 24/7 because if not, what are you doing with your life? Why don't you have 4 side hustles? Why don't you have 2 jobs? Why aren't you putting out more effort, more work out there to get further ahead? So when we see this as a mentality, it's like, wait, if they're all doing that, obviously I've got to be doing that. And if I'm not, then somehow I'm failing, right? I'm not not meeting the mark that they're all setting, which in turn gets you to take on more tasks, take on more challenges, say yes a lot more, and now your plate went from kind of full to overflowing.
Right. I don't know where to find the balance in that, though, because, and this is just, personally, I don't think I want to take something on that wouldn't be worthwhile and fulfilling to do it. So you're doing something yes, everybody, a lot of us are overworking right now because we want to, save for the winter, save for the bad times. When a recession is looming, it's only a matter of time before the effects of that recession hit us. So, or when a recession is here, it's only a matter of time before the effects of that recession hit us. So we want to be prepared in that regard. But at the same time, though, the goals of the tasks or the goals of the gigs, the goals of the hustles also play into this. And I'm not talking like a picking up hours as an Uber driver or DoorDash or something like that. I'm talking about people that take on side hustles that have potential to turn into something else.
And they have to weigh what is more important to them, right?
Yeah.
So if they, that's when we have to do a lot of self-reflection, right? You can't necessarily compare yourself to one person sitting across the table from you, because their whole life is a whole different set of situations than yours are.
Yeah.
You know, while it may be similar, trying to put yourself in their position where they're saying, "Oh, I've got 10 meetings today. I worked 14 hours." Like, man, don't you just hate working all those long days? They almost like want to like push on their work schedule to you, when if you're like, wait, I don't actually, hold up, I don't do all that. Should I be doing all that? You then start having self-doubt, like, wait, Brian's working 16 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Should I be working 16 hours? And if I'm not working 16 hours, what does it say about me as a person? Am I lazy at that point? Then there's a whole bunch of just negative comments that come into our brain, when in reality it's, no, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Brian's doing what he's supposed to be doing. So if you have this passion project that comes into a side hustle and is lucrative, well, then pursue that. Just know something else may not get your full attention at that point.
Right. Yeah, it's one of the phrases that pops into my head is, don't let comparison be the thief of joy.
Oh my gosh, yes.
If you're living your best life, it's your best life. It's not somebody else's. You don't look to somebody else to determine where you should be.
Well, and it's heightened when we get on social media, right? So we can see,
God, yes.
we can see people putting out their best life, living my best life, or still at the grind, still working. And you look at that, and we start to look inward, like, wait, why aren't we doing this? You know, oh, that's a mom of 5 kids, and she's doing all this and that. Then you start comparing. Well, hang on, I may not have any kids, and I'm not doing half of what she's doing.
Right.
And then you start having that self-worth doubt. It's like, hang on, what am I even doing?
Someone always inevitably says, on their deathbed, nobody wishes they would have worked more. Flip that around, though. Nobody's ever asked that of a poor person. Seriously, you've never, every time that phrase comes up, it's somebody who was, remarkably successful in their lifetime.
Yeah.
It's like a retired CEO or some kind of huge real estate mogul or Ebenezer Scrooge. It's always somebody who was, had the cash to make it worthwhile. I look at that the same way I look at the money can't buy happiness phrase. Well, no, it can't, but it can buy access and opportunity.
It can, but it also can have people chomping at the bit to try to get some of your money, which creates unhappiness.
Well,
then you're trying to self-serve everybody, and the money's gone.
So I understand that. I'm just saying that there is nonetheless a balance. If you look at things through the lens of mapping out your day, mapping out your week, your month, or your next 5 years, however you want to balance that out, as long as you're keeping to your plan, to your schedule, you're not necessarily in the wrong.
Right. And
go ahead.
I was going to say, if you do have that bold and that tendency to want to go and strive and achieve what everybody else is doing that's way above, by all means, go for it.
Right.
But for those that may not, you don't need to beat yourself up because you're not.
All right, we're talking business with Patrick Grimion. We do so every Thursday. Going to break it here in just a minute. Got to remind you about the folks over at Complete Collision Center. They've got 2 locations, Plank Road in Zachary and Perkins, just east of Bluebonnet, right here in Baton Rouge. Certified by more than a dozen major car manufacturers. Basically, the people who build the cars say, take your car here. If you get into an accident, that's where you want to go. I mean, you got to make up your mind quickly. A lot of things happen when you're in an accident. Determining where you're taking your vehicle is one of the many things that you've got to get done. Your insurance company is going to have suggestions, but keep in mind, they are mere suggestions. Check them out online, CompleteCollision.com, CompleteCollision.com, or give them a call at 768-9898, 768-9898. Don't let who you choose to repair your vehicle be your second accident. Check out Complete Collision and CompleteCollision.com.
Or just go to Brian's homepage and you find out that he lives there.
I mean, I've visited once or twice. I am downright paranoid on the road at this point.
Well, that's what your second accident in less than a year? Is that your second accident in less than a year? Is that the timeline?
It depends on what you call an accident.
Your car needing to go into the shop for repairs on
4
the body.
times in 2 years.
But not all your fault. None of them your fault, right?
One was my fault. The only one that was my fault was when this was the first of the 4, backing out of the parking lot at James's daycare. And I've got my eye on a mom loading her kids into the minivan on this side and backed into a light pole on this side.
Oh, but there was no car accident.
No, not at all. So there was that. And then the second time was I was on Sharp Road heading from Goodwood towards Old Hammond, and someone who was clearly like I could see them have the phone in front of their face while driving.
Driving.
Kind of ran me off the road. Ran me off the road. I bottomed out my car. It did something to the AC, where like all the coolant or whatever busted out and drained out. So, and then time number 3 was on Old Hammond Highway coming back from the gym, where a big old chunk of cement, it looked like half a parking bumper, falls out of the back of a truck. I don't know how with that weight, but it falls out of the back of a truck, and a big old piece of plywood flies out as well. I dodge the plywood, hit the cement, car goes airborne, lands, and my tires explode.
All 4?
No, just the passenger side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Byron said, distracted by a hot mom. Respect, dude.
And then, and then the 4th one was the 18-wheeler that sideswiped me on the interstate. And that's the one that I can't get out of my head.
Have they fixed the car yet?
No, I got my new mirror, but so in spite of everyone's advice, I have not gone like to a lawyer or an insurance company on this one because I don't want to break the guy's back with CDL insurance, trucker's insurance, whatever. He's paying me, and I'm paying the body shop. Once I have enough money paid, he's paying me weekly.
Yeah.
Once I have enough money built up, I'll take it in to get the repairs. So,
I mean, that's the respectable thing to do.
Dude gave me $3,000 the first day. Like, he's like, this is everything I've got saved up. And I'm like, I understand. It's okay. Yeah. I know. I feel bad. Well,
caused a lot of damage to his car.
I do need to get my car fixed. But like, he was like, I'll give you $1,000 a week. I'm like, how much do you make? He's like, $1,200 a week. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, no.
He's like, I appreciate that. I do. You know, he's like, the holidays are coming up. I'm like, bro, you got kids? He's like, and I could, like, when he hit me, he was scared to death that I had kids in the car.
Yeah.
Like, he visibly calmed down once he saw that I was alone and okay.
Right.
So
once he found out you were the old geezer Brian, he's like, all right, you're fine. You've lived a life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm all but done on this earth. Tires exploding is not, like, that's not hyperbole. That's how it played out.
It's legit what happened.
The tires exploded.
Now, did you get, like, a bent rim and all that?
No. I know. I was shocked.
Are those some Shawbill tires? Because that's some good promotion.
Well,
Free T-shirt.
was not Shawbill's. It was, I went to Hunt's Tire Pros and Car Care.
Okay.
As I do. Go all the way up Sherwood.
The Thief of Joy is Brian's favorite. He told me that the other day.
It's been coming up a lot lately.
I mean, it's so true, though.
It motivates me.
It motivates some, can turn off others.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to have a delicate balance, and when you have those types of conversations, you have to generalize things, right? Can't say, no, if you're not doing what they're doing, how dare you?
Totally.
I'm more along the lines of just, it distracts me from focus.
Yeah. I mean, watching what people do, trying to figure out how they do it, can be beneficial, but in reality, you got to get your stuff under check.
Yeah.
And you got to focus on what you're doing.
Well, I do focus on what I do. I just try to do it better.
That's just self-improvement. That's always encouraged.
652 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Patrick Grimion in the house. We talk business every Thursday. We're talking about where you draw the line with work versus overwork right now. The side hustles and whatnot, and just the grinding hours. I mean, this is the right time of year to be doing this, because this is the time of year where you kind of start to take stock of where you're at and where you want to be next year.
Yeah, you start planning for year end. You start looking at how many days you can have off for the holiday, if any. You know, what's your holiday schedule going to look like?
If any?
Some people may not get days off during the holidays, Brian.
Interesting. I mean, I guess it depends on what business you're in.
Depends on what type of business you're in.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've had, working with my dad, we've had days where, like, holidays, people have issues and they give you a call and you got to go help them out.
Yeah.
It just happens.
It does. That being said, it's time to take stock because you want to be one step ahead when it comes to not just where you are, but where you're going.
Right.
And that means evaluating what equates success. What measures success? Is it dollars earned? Is it what is achieved? And that's where a lot of people run into problems because for a lot of jobs, that's not as tangible. One of my favorite things, and I will forever remember this, is a friend of mine who used to host a weekend show here on Talk 107.3. He said he loves cutting his grass because it's a very tangible thing. Tim Johnson's his name. He used to host a Louisiana Business and Industry show, which is still on TV. It just used to be on this station as well. He says, I love to cut my grass because every pass of that mower, I could see what I've done and what I still have to do. It's a very tangible, visible thing. You can look and that's your accomplishment right there in front of your eyes. For a lot of folks, results are not that visible. So how do you measure success? And that's where a lot of us walk down the path of measuring success by dollars.
Yeah, that is like a constant that everybody can use, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can all use, I've got this much in the bank, I make this much a year. That's how I define success.
Right.
Where you may have somebody who has a completely different look and they say, well, that's great. Good job on making that much money. I spend, 2 months out of the year on vacations with my family.
Right. It's a different measure of success. It's one of those ones where, like, another one is like step away from work. How do you measure success, like with a workout, with fitness? Like you're going to track results, but they take so much time you don't see them from day to day. You have to step back every so often and do a comparison over a extended period of time. So if you're working in a job where it's not as daily tangible as that, then can you take snapshots throughout?
I think you can. I think you can look back. What we do at the firm is we have annual evaluations, right? So we talk about how you were this year. And if your work doesn't do that, your employer doesn't do that, maybe do a self-evaluation every year. If you haven't started it, probably now is the best time to start that. Start writing down, accomplishments that you've done tangibly at the office that you can point to, whether it's got quicker at a process, landed one client, or kept my desk organized the whole year and never had a mess. Whatever it may be, just figure out something tangible you can write down that you accomplished that year, and then just start comparing it year over year.
You were so on the right track for a minute there. Kept my desk clean?
For some people, that's an accomplishment, right?
You remember the Adam Sandler movie Big Daddy? Of course you don't, because you don't ever see any movies. That's a I wipe my own hiney kind of goal right there. All right, back on track real quick. One of the more popular things out there right now is core values for different companies.
Right.
No matter where you go, I shouldn't say no matter where you go. A lot of places you go now, companies will have core values. We hear it from Dave Ramsey's show every day. We have our core values here at Guarantee over at LSU. I see them when we step on the elevator to go produce games over there. Should individuals be as mindful and intentional with their core values as companies are becoming?
100%, if not more so, right? For people that are working their 9 to 5, they're only at their job for 8 hours a day, and you've got the rest of the time. You've got to be self-accountable to whatever your core values are outside of the workplace.
Sticking to those core values can keep you on the path for your goals, but at the same time, though, they can drag you down as well to stay on the path, to stay on task.
What do you mean?
I mean, like a core value. They're a greater picture. They're a bigger picture item. They're a bigger picture thing.
Right.
They don't get down into the nitty gritty day to day and how they apply on each and every task you do.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. It's for what for parents. The years are short, but the minutes are long.
Yes.
So taking time to, I like to keep a mindset of put your head down for 5 years, pick it up and see where you've gone. And then put your head down for another 5 years. So at that mark, that's when you kind of look at your core values. Are we still within line? Are we still within reason for the everyday tasks I'm accomplishing? And not every day, okay, how is this email I'm typing align with my core values?
Yes.
Not getting down to that level, but again, doing that annual self-evaluation. Okay, where was I in regards to my core values over the whole year? okay, I had a rough Mardi Gras, didn't abide by my values, and then the summertime came around, I got back into them. So it's that self assessment at an not so frequent time, right? So not every day. I mean, sure, you can evaluate yourself every day, but looking at the bigger picture, like you said, on a more semi-annual, annual basis, how have you done personally over the year?
Yeah, and the balance is an equal judging of what have I done versus where are we going.
Right.
What's coming up on the show this week?
This week we've got Daryl Cohen of Legendary Auto Import Group and Legendary Cuts and the Red Claws basketball team.
I don't know any of these things.
Well, listen to the show, Brian. You'll learn about all of them.
I absolutely will. I absolutely hoping for a little bit of a deeper tease on that one, but okay.
Well, we talk a lot about his mindset and his motto and also his experience playing basketball in Europe.
Okay, cool. I like it.
And taking back some of the business mottos that they had over there to Louisiana and how he kind of impacts his own businesses that way.
The Patrick Gremion Show available, the Petty G Show available wherever you get your podcasts, and of course right here in the Saturdays on demand lineup, Saturday nights right here on Talk 107.3. He's Patrick Gremion. We appreciate the time every week, man.
Thank you, Brian.
Absolutely.